Tonight's tactical enhancement is the last of the single malt Speyside. Tonight we're playing black powder, 450 points, and we've done an attack defense scenario. So the Prussians again, that's all I've got, versus Llew's French, because for some reason he likes them. And the general idea is all the Prussians are on the table. They've been marching up this road and going, oh, there's enemy up ahead. They've found out. And then there's a farmstead that needs capturing. There's a hedgerow. This is bocage, basically. It's defended, and the French are in defensive positions. The French are deployed first, in fact, in defensive positions, but only half of their forces here. The rest is in reserve, and they'll be coming on I think a roll of a 4+. A unit comes on. That'll be interesting. Is it just one unit, or like have to be like a brigade or something?
One roll per battalion.
Per battalion. Ooh, crikey. Llew volunteered to defend this one. I think he's being generous. Bit of a hill, good sighting for the artillery. Trees there, trees there. That's it. And by way of rules, we've made it so that there's no charges on the first turn. That stops us trying to get some sort of unfair advantage from the attacker. And that's probably about it, really. Each battalion comes on a 4+. We might need to do it like 1 dice turn 1, 2 dice turn 2, that sort of thing, sort of Flames of War style. Anything else of note?
Not really. The objective is to take this zone here.
Take that zone there. All right.
Do it as quick as possible.
All right. Cool. Well, we don't like the French, so we're going to have at them. Who goes first?
Roll off.
Roll off. All right. Well, that sounds promising. Bear with me. I was going to dice. Oh, you got a 2. Oh, I got a 1. Fantastic. So often the way. All right. We will check in at the end of French turn 1. End of French turn 1. Unfortunately, they didn't do very much. They did not get reserves on. That was good. This lot fired. They did a little bit actually, to be fair. They fired at this big block here and they did a casualty. I didn't make my save, and he did, however, confirm the disruption. So they're going to be a little bit less effective next turn. Over here, both cannon fired. They fired at my skirmishers, my landwehr. Landwehr? No, Jaegers. And, well, the cannons automatically disrupt, and I failed my save there as well, so that was a bit annoying. But none of that's going to stop me from getting on with the business in the Prussian turn.
Correct.
So we'll move over to Prussian turn 1. End of Prussian turn 1, and my lordy my, it's time to break out the hearing aids. The first thing I did was attach my general to this block of troops here in the hope that leadership 10 would help. And yeah, it didn't. I rolled an 11. All I can say is thank fuck it wasn't boxcars getting right on the edge of the table. So that entire formation went nowhere. These horses were supposed to come up around here and attack on the flank. They didn't want to move either. God, these horses failed to do anything. The only unit that did anything was these guys, who quite happily trotted forward to form the meat wall against this lot coming around to support the defended position. And I did fire the cannon, and I fired at these guys here. 4 shots, needing 3s. 2 of them hit. He saved one of them on a 6. So that was all round fucking woeful, I have to say. I haven't seen anything that bad since, Llew tried to command his French last turn. Anyway, on that note, we'll go back to the French for turn 2 and see what happens. End of French turn 2. Now, my disjointed attack is not... it's creating me some problems. First thing that happened was one out of the 2 reserves turned up. Here they are, but we decided A, they can move on, but if they're moving up the road, they have to move in a marching column. So that'll create some interesting effects. We also figured that from turn 3, at least 1 battalion should come on automatically, irrespective of what you roll. These guys managed to roll up just 1 move, so they're working their way through bocage, only at 6 inches. This lot stood and shot, and they took another wound off of this fortunately beefed up unit. I had some points spare, so I made this one large unit of musketeers, and they took another casualty and disrupted them again. These cavalry initially rolled 11, that was hilarious, but then the general decided to whip them into shape and got them moving around there, had a good clip. These guys took a wound off of this unit and managed to disrupt them, so they're not going anywhere. These guys fired at this unit, managed to not do anything, and made a save. And these cannon shot at this lot here. I remember it was the cannon that caused that wound. Either way,
cannon did it.
Yeah, it wasn't those guys after all.
No.
So yes, so they're actually, all things considered, that's not too bad when you got cannon right in your face. I can't complain, but I really do need to get my line moving. We're getting sort of held up rather a lot at the moment between paucity of command and Llew's French shooting. So we shall move into Prussian turn 2. And I, for one, could do with some more tactical enhancement. Right, end of Prussian turn 2. Oh, some things worked, some things didn't. We did manage to get these guys and the other unit that's not there to barrel into this lot. And they made the charge in, took a casualty on the way in, lost a casualty in the fight, did nothing in return, lost, and then rolled a 5 because they were disrupted on the way in. They they're gone. They're scattered. These guys moved up on the flank, ready to support some people who strangely aren't there anymore. These guys were disordered, so they're not anymore. Okay, we did manage to get our cavalry to move up. They're in the lee of the hill. They can't get hit by the cannon. Staring at these guys, sort of blocking each other's flanking manoeuvre, really. This slot were disordered the previous turn, and so they did nothing this turn. I think that's how it works. No, actually, they weren't disordered. The disorder came off last turn, but they failed their orders again. Over here, we weren't really relying on orders. We were relying on impulse, which is fortunate. Now, we did work out that this brigade commander actually has leadership 9, because I stuffed up where I was applying points in order to make brigade commanders and generals have higher leadership. So moving forward, this unit's got leadership 9, which makes no difference so far because it's all been impulse moves or rolling really low anyway, so they're fine. This lot managed to charge into a unit of infantry, and we bashed them good. Which is hilarious because I got 4 hits on them, but they got 6 hits on me, and I took 1 casualty, and they took 2 or 3? 3, yep. And we each had a bit of support, and then they rolled 4 and truffed off. So we're bashing each other up pretty effectively, and my cannon got 2 hits again only on these guys, but they put those 2 wounds on them, so that unit is shaken. So it's getting bloody already. So what we'll do now is we will roll for reserves and see what comes on. 3 dice, please.
3 dice.
1, which is the minimum. We decided every turn from now on you get at least 1. We found that taking things like reserve rules and some of the mission rules from games like Team Yankee actually translates pretty well to Black Powder. So you can go into the Team Yankee books, the same as the Flames of War books really, and find mission types, and some of those, like the attack defense scenarios and such like, or objective captures, will translate just fine to Black Powder. So on that note, we got these guys. In their turn, they'll be able to do a standard move, and the battlefield's just gotten a little bit thicker. All right, We'll check in at the end of French turn 3. End of French turn 3, and I don't know what they're putting in the gunpowder, but it's fucking working. Where to start? Okay, this lot here decided to shoot at these landwehr that had been supporting the unit that is no longer there, and they disordered them and shot them up a little bit. These guys got one shot out, which caused a casualty and disordered them. Bastards. The cannon fired into these guys, caused a couple of casualties. Didn't disorder them, but still, they've got 3 casualties now. That's not great. This unit and this unit fired on these previously successful fellas and disordered them, if they weren't already, and knocked another couple of casualties off them. Man. And over here, his cavalry charged in. I had the advantage in this fight, but I whiffed my saves something horrific, whereas Llew did his rather well. And my guys rolled a 5. Thank fuck they're still there, given the dice roll. And they were pushed back. I'm about to fight in my turn. I may have to move these guys, these skirmishers here, out of the way, or else they will flow through into them. That would be poor. And I can't even canister these bloody cavalry because they're in combat. So, wow, that was effective. My entire attack is basically stalled at this juncture. I have to have a bit of a think about what to do. On that note, we'll check in at the end of Prussian turn 3. Right, end of Prussian turn, that's turn 3, and they're still failing to impress. Let's see, these guys couldn't do anything because they were disordered, so disorders come off. Same with these guys. We move these guys back, disordered with retreat, because they're just getting shot up too much and couldn't do anything. That leaves a fresh unit here. These guys use orders to take a wound off, so the centre is holding, but not by a lot. We put a couple of rounds at these guys when these units didn't do anything. We shot at these guys with one unit, did nothing. Shot at these guys with the unit, did nothing. Oh, the cannon blasted at these guys and did a total of 1 wound. But then for the morale, they rolled like 10 or something. So they're happy as Larry, hopping about with only 1 leg. Then the cavalry fight, which had moved up on the follow through from last time. Yeah, I actually rolled pretty well. Unfortunately, Llew rolled decently as well, and he was rolling on 3s, I was rolling on 5s, and then I just whiffed my fucking saves all over again. And I rolled shit for morale, and they just chuffed off the table. Although, frankly, at that point, they'd been beaten up so badly, I can't blame them. One thing I did do was move these guys out to the side. Still a support. Not that it was enough, but there was still support, but it meant they weren't directly in front of these guys, so they couldn't just flow through into them, if that's what happens. Then they backed off. It struck me as a bit odd because I thought he would have used the next turn to charge a gun line and get them in the flank, but he's not doing that. I don't know why. That's what I would have done, but then again I play a lot of Warhammer. So the Prussians don't know what the fuck they're doing today. A bit like the French last game. On that note, we're into French turn 4. They get 4 dice for reserve. Let's see what turns up. 2 units. 2 units turning up.
That's the whole brigade.
Yeah, so the whole thing about outnumbering them is no longer quite such an issue, and they've done more casualties to me than I've done to them. What the fuck? We'll keep at it. Frenchy turn 4. End of French turn 4, and that's game. There won't even be a turn 4 for the Prussians, because the French have shot the living bejesus out of the Prussians everywhere you look. They fired cannon at these guys and shook them again and disordered them and pushed them back, in fact. These guys are shaken from having me shot at last time. These guys are shaken and another unit is destroyed, so they're gone. Yeah, that's about it, really. Obviously, the cavalry there is gone. The cavalry's not really an issue. I do have the little Jaeger unit there, but that's technically shaken because it's a tiny unit with a casualty. Basically, the Prussian casualties are not that heavy in the grand scheme of things, but they're shaken all over the place. Yeah, I've only got one functioning unit, one functioning battalion out of each of my regiments or brigades. And even these guys are copying a bit of wounds. As Llew said, the thing that seems to have ruined my day is nothing bloody well moving in the first turn. That's really buggered things up rather badly. That said, the shooting was horrific. Mine wasn't bad, I have to say. It's not like my dice were bad. It's more the first turn, nothing working. And Llew had some dice go rather badly as well, so I don't think I can gripe as much as I would in the average game of Warhammer. But, it is what it is. The French, they blasted like crazy and pushed them back. Where we hit them, we did some damage. But making you guys tough fighters helped.
I didn't get in combat a lot.
No, not much, but you won that fight there, which meant a lot, actually, because if I'd beaten them there, there would have been a lot less shooting and that unit would not have been shaken.
Yeah. I think brigades of 3 battalions are a bit fragile too.
Oh, they are, but here's the thing, with the Prussians, this is the minimum, and then it's another 65 points. No, it's more than that. It's another, 70 odd points in order to, because you have to have a minimum of 2 brigades, and each brigade has to have a minimum of 1 unit of these and 2 of these, right? So you've got to have a minimum of 3, and you've got to have a minimum of 6 blocks of infantry. And then if you want to upgrade, okay, you can add more blocks of infantry to it, but the landwehr come in blocks of 2. So I actually have blocks of 4 all up because I've got another unit each of musketeers. But that is so many points. In a 450 point game, you're looking at 300 points worth of infantry.
Yeah.
Which leaves you with very little tactical flexibility. I do like to take the artillery. It's one of the few things that usually works. In fact, it's one of the few things that actually did anything today. Because one of the things Llew did actually was withdraw his infantry from the hill because they were getting blasted so much by cannon. And I was rolling pretty shit with those cannon, but it's still enough to chase them off. Anyway, so what have we learned?
What have we learned? It's important to get the first turn off when you're attacking against defensive position, and you've got to get in hard and fast before the reserves come on.
That's certainly true.
I think the Prussians are going to benefit from units of 4 battalions to a regiment. I would definitely drop one of the batteries out next time.
Really?
And I would drop either the Lancers or the Dragoons off in a small game, which will allow you to bump those up to 4.
Well, you have to take the Dragoons in order to get the Lancers, so there's that.
So if you take the Dragoons, you don't have to take the Lancers, do you?
That's right, but not the other way around. You can't take Lancers without Dragoons. And I like the Lancers. The Lancers, they hit like a ton of bricks, these guys.
They do.
So what I'm finding is that this game is optimised for the Prussian army at about 500 points.
Yeah. They've become a very tough nut to crack at 500 points.
Because I do like to upgrade my commanders as well, because their leadership is crap with the landwehr. Because the difference between leadership 7 and leadership 6 when you're doing an order is actually a lot bigger than you think. Because I think the way that 2d6 rolls out and all the different combinations, 7 is actually quite common. So if you've got to get a 7 or less, you'll do that well over 50% of the time. But if you need to get a 6 or less, you're going to get that well under 50% of the time.
Yeah. And you roll badly tonight, old mate.
Well,
you roll badly.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah,
that's the fog of war.
But then you rolled absolute crud last game over and over again, so I can't complain.
No.
But I went into this thinking that if I just barrel headlong in, I should be right. I'll stay at 1 turn of fire, and then we're bashing them up. But only 1 unit out of this brigade managed to get into a fight. I got the shit shot out of him multiple times on the way in, trying to get there. only one unit out of this brigade managed to get into a fight, and we just got the hell shot out of us. It just stopped in place with disorders. Because it wasn't even the casualties that were doing it, it was the fact that I couldn't move turn after turn.
Yeah.
Which meant that I could stand still and support, or I could fall back and get shot slightly less next turn.
Yeah.
Terrible choice to have to make.
Well, next time the Prussians can be in defence.
Oh, okay, I'll do it the other way around.
And I'll attack you. I
might do some jiggery-pokery with my list. Or, actually, no, let's do exactly the same lists and just switch scenario.
Or you may find in a defensive position where you don't have to actually move. If you're going to take those two batteries, sight those batteries up on top of the hill.
Yeah.
Same scenario, batteries up on top. But all it means, wherever you put your batteries, I'll just stack the other side and go in.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Of course, my infantry has to mutually support itself too. Yeah. There's something to bear in mind. All right, we'll do this game again when you're next free. We'll change sides. We'll take exactly the same lists.
Yep.
Even though, I mean, I could make the Prussians a bit more effective, but that would be cheating now that I've had a go. Because I didn't know if I was attacking or defending when we selected our lists, and I wanted flexibility just in case. But that's the plan. We'll do it again, and we'll see if the list works any better when it's in a slightly more sheltered position. Only there's less of them.
Auf Wiedersehen, Prussia. Back to Berlin.
And we'll see if the French get as lost as the fucking Prussians did, trying to figure out where the shooting's coming from. On that note, thanks for watching. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, and so forth. And time to call it a night.